So for this style, I started by putting her little bangs in here, and they're long right now because I just put them in, but usually after a couple hours they kind of spring up so they don't hang down in her eyes. So we just started with a little row of twists in the front. But now this is the important part, because the point of these hairstyles is that this is pretty fast and easy to put in, this first part, but all of the sections of her hair that I'm making, I'm going to use on the second hairstyle, so that half of it is of the work is already done, because parting can take me a long time. So to have the parts already, most of the parts already put in, is really helpful when I go to do the next hairstyle. So what I did was I made my center part that I usually make from the forehead to the neck, but up at the front I started with a little triangle here. Can you see that? A little triangle in the front. And then I made 3 sections on each side of the part. One here, one in the middle, and one down at the neck. So there's, on either side of the part, there's 3 sections. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as you can see, I already did this part. I split this front section into 2 braids, and I'm going to add it to each section. And to make it easier on myself, I'm just going to put another ponytail holder right over top of this one that's already here. So I'm just adding this braid to this loose hair in this ponytail that's on this side. I'm going to take another hair thing and do the same to the other side. And you could see on those braids that I hadn't braided all the way down to the end of the hair, because I didn't want them to be, I want all the hair in these 2 puffs to be free. So I'm going to go back and kind of unbraid. If you can see, this is the tail of this braid. I'm going to unbraid it a little bit, the part that's braided that's in here, so that I have all free loose hair. So now you can see I took both of these ponytails and I made 2 braids out of each one. And if you look here in the back, with the 2 bottom sections, they each also have 2 braids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join one of the braids from the front and one from the back into this one. And then this one's going to go across here. This is a little complicated. And then this one's going to cross here. And I'm going to take one from the back and cross it up here. So I've taken 1 braid from each of the front sections and each of the back sections. So that's 4 braids total that I've added to this middle ponytail. And again, I'm going to take another ponytail holder and hold them all together. So then I've got this one here that I already started pulling across, one from the front, so there's one from each of those front sections. Then I'm going to come here in the back and pull this one across and this one up, and take my ponytail holder, put it around everything to hold it all together. Okay, so after I added 4 braids to this ponytail, I then again split this into 2 sections and braided them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now wind the braid around and tuck the ends underneath, and then take the second braid and wind it around the other direction and tuck the ends underneath. Take one more ponytail holder and use it to hold everything together. So now we have 2 braided buns with a bunch of crisscrossing braids. And it took me about an hour to part, after I washed her hair, to part it, comb through all the sections, and put all these little braids in. So that took me about an hour to do. And now I'll use all of these sections over again. Can you tip your head down? I'm thinking I might leave this in for about 4 days. And hopefully it'll stay looking nice for that amount of time, and then it'll be ready for me to put the cornrows in. Okay, so I ended up doing something a little differently than I had planned. This turned into a 3-step hairdo instead of just a 2-step hairdo. You saw on Saturday what I had done when I put in this simple part of the style, where this was all one section, and then this was a section, and there's a section over here, and the braids all crisscrossed. Well, I had a little time on Monday, so after that had been in for about 3 days, I took these top 3 sections out, and I turned the triangle section into 3 cornrows, and then each section on the side I put 2 cornrows in. You can see that? 2 more cornrows over on that side. And that's the beginning of the hairdo, and that's all what I had planned to do. But I just had a little bit of time, so that's as far as I got. So what I ended up doing was I took the 4 braids from the side and 3 from the side, and I just crisscrossed them and joined them to those little braided buns that we had before. See, it's still the same down here. Haven't gotten to that part yet. Okay, as you can see, this is the finished hairdo. We didn't end up having time to tape this when we finished it the other night. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of explain it really quick. So the last time I showed it to you, we had put 3 braids in the triangle section and 2 braids in each side. And we had these 2 sections left to braid. I ended up putting 3 braids, 1, 2, 3, into this section, and only 2 into the bottom section. As you can see, it's the same on this side, 2 braids here, and 3 over here, 1, 2, 3. And then I just cornrowed them into 1 big braid down the middle, like I had done for the other video that was the faux French braids, except for this is just 1 instead of 2. And the other difference between that video and this one, I'm going to take this out and show you how I did it because it's real fast and easy, is I braided these all the way to the ends. I didn't leave the hair loose like I did in the other one, and I think that will actually help this big braid to stay looking nice for longer. Anyway, so I'm just going to take that out, and I will just demonstrate for you how I braided these all together. So I started with my first 3 braids that were from the triangle section on top, and I'm braiding underhanded, so I'm passing my middle over the sides every time, middle over the side. So I've started that with the top, and then every time that I pass the middle, every time that I pass the middle over the side, I'm going to grab one of the braids from the left or the right and bring it with as I pass it under. So I'm going to grab this one as I pass it under. I'm going to grab this one as I pass it under. Grab this one. I grab this one. Pass it under. Grab this one. Add it to the side. Pass it under the middle. Grab the one from the left. Pass it under the middle. Grab from the right. Pass it under the middle. Grab from the left. I'm going to pass it under the middle. My last braid on the right. Pass it under the middle. And then I will just braid down. Oh, we've seemed to get a stray one there. Just braid this down. I can't go down too far because a lot of the braids from the front are ending here, so I can only go a little ways. So that is real simple, really fast and easy once you have the cornrows in. And along the way getting here, we ended up with 3 different styles that she wore for each a couple days at a time.